Today's Toy Spot, we are having a look at the DC Collectibles DC Comics Designer Series Greg Capullo figure number 19, Green Lantern Hal Jordan. Sort of reviewing these out of sequence. I already looked at the Superman, and now we're kind of backtracking here as we have a look at figure number 19. But we have the Green Lantern Hal Jordan figure in hand. I have to admit, though, the coloring on him looks really good. And looking forward to getting this guy to packaging. He kind of seems very bare bones, though. Doesn't come with any accessories. His lantern, nothing. But I'm not going to take any points away from the figure. The figure might still be pretty good. Side of the box features some artwork of Greg Capullo, which was then the base for designing these figures from. Then the back of the package shows you all 4 figures from the set. The only figure they actually didn't have at the comic book store that I visit is the JCPD Batman, but hopefully that will be coming out soon. In the meantime, though, there is figure number 17, Aquaman, figure number 19, and figure, well, 19, Green Lantern, figure number 20, the Superman that we already had a look at. To find a comic book store in your area, it's as easy as going to www.comicsshoplocator.com, put in your zip code, or in my case, postal code, and it'll tell you all the comic book stores in your area. It's a really effective tool, and it has helped me finding the comic book store that I go to all the time. Spot's going to take a break and get this opened up. When we come back, though, we're going to get a better look at the DC Comics Designer Series Greg Capullo figure number 19, Green Lantern Hal Jordan. There's a whole lot more coming your way, guys. Not going, but coming your way. So certainly don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Alright, so let's get a better look at Hal Jordan. You know what? This one is a good looking figure. It's not to say I didn't have necessarily a dislike for the Superman that we already had a look at, but Superman did have shortcomings. I feel like the shortcomings that Superman was very apparently presenting doesn't seem as much problematic here on Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan turned out really good. For comparison, as to the figure that I am just talking about now, let's bring in the Superman. It is probably very apparent. Let's bring the camera in, shall we? There we go, there we go, there we go, and bring the camera up. Alright, so between the two figures, you can probably see how the complexion of, well, Green Lantern Hal Jordan is a lot better than the complexion and skin tone that they give in Superman. It's very apparent how shiny Superman's face is versus Hal Jordan. Even like Hal Jordan's face does have a sickly coloring to it, but it's certainly a far cry from the sickly and then slicked look that Superman's face had. I'm not sure why they did one over the other and not just, if they were going to do this, why didn't they just simply carry that on for all the figures? But ultimately, Superman did have that as a shortcoming. Don't have that problem at all when it comes to Hal Jordan. Let's move Superman out of the way here. His coloring is very nice. I have one problem with the figure, I'll get to it in a second. Overall, I do like this figure. The metallic green showcases very nicely on the body here of Green Lantern Hal Jordan, while the subtle matte black really keeps the figure grounded so that not everything on the figure is super shiny. Yes, the metallic does pop on both the boots as well as the whole torso portion of Hal Jordan, and they've also gone ahead and they've painted in some panel lining, which is really nicely appreciated here in the shoulder portion and the whole back part of his torso. Paint is generally clean. I don't have much in the way of the issues of paint, as I could probably expect to find with metallic. Sometimes metallic, they get a little sloppy in, you find little gooped areas, or you find areas that are missing and devoid of paint. Luckily, Green Lantern seems generally clean all around. Another area that could be an issue, if anything, is his white gloves. His white gloves are pristine white with no indication of any goopage. I have a little bit on the side where it's just a little bit of excess that might be flaking off here. But other than that, the gloves look nice and clean. They have also sculpted in the ring as opposed to just giving it one big blob of paint. A sculpted ring certainly also goes a long way with this reviewer as well. His hands are closed shut. There's nothing you can do about it, so thereby giving him any sort of accessories you know, a lantern, for example. Really defeats the purpose. There's no, he doesn't come with one, nor would his hands be designed to hold one anyways. The one problem I do have with the figure, though, is that his legs, this one leg specifically, seems to want to just bow out. I've tried and getting it flat, but it doesn't seem to want to go any further than that. This one's not as bad, but this one here sticks really noticeably out, at least in my opinion. It does still have the limited articulation with the motion, movement, and forward and back motion that Superman had, where that's basically all you can get on a back and on a forward. The lower torso really does a bad job of hindering a lot of the motion on the legs, at least from a forward and back. Not that you were going to have the legs any further than that anyways, but even still, I would appreciate it if they had found some way to kind of maybe curve in or shave away some of the excess portions of his thigh and even buttocks area so that you could actually have moved the legs a little bit more. Speaking of motion and movement, Green Lantern's articulation consists of the following. His head rotates all the way around. Shoulders hinge out. Exactly the same. Basically everything you saw with Superman would be the same here as well. The arms rotate all the way around. He has a swivel on the bicep portion of his arm. He has also a single hinge in the elbow. And he has a rotation where the glove is attached to the forearm. To also find, you will get a crunch on the torso portion of his body here, as well as a rotation in the waist. Full rotation. Not that you would be wanting to do that to a figure, but it has a full rotation nonetheless. We've already looked at the legs. He does have a swivel on the 3/4 cut on the thigh, a double hinge knee. I do like that. No rotation on the boot portion, but he does have a rotation on the foot, as well as a hinge back and forth. I'm curious as to why they gave such a noticeable hinge on his legs. I guess it's just to accommodate also the rotation on the ankle portion and foot portion anyways, but it seems like it's a very noticeable hinge. Again, it's not problematic for me at least, but it seems like this could be something over time that might get a little loose. So just be aware of that. Good figure. I like the figure. I think it turned out nice. I'm a little iffy on, I don't like how the leg bows out the way it is, but that may not be everyone's figure. That might just be the figure that I picked up. This is still a much better figure than Superman, personally speaking. It does not have the slicked, fish-like qualities that Superman had with that really weird, sickly, slick look on the flesh tone. Green Lantern seems to do it a lot better. The metallic is a nice touch, and a well-rounded figure you'll get here with the Green Lantern Hal Jordan. Today's Toy Spot, we were looking at the Greg Capullo Designer Series. This was figure number 19, and this was Hal Jordan. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more videos heading your way. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time.